We're on. Good. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Hello? Are you ready? Yes. Then we'll begin.
We've ended a liturgical year and moving towards the next one. So jump on the train. Here we go with Monday Morning Catholic Podcast, episode number 97.
6:30 Monday morning. I'm here hiding in my bed. A song plays on my alarm clock as I cover up my head. Somewhere in the distance, I remember yesterday singing.
Yeah, well, somewhere ahead in the distance is actually Thanksgiving, and then we'll all cover up our heads after we celebrate that feast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Monday Morning Catholic Podcast. I am your host and moderator, Joanne Mercier, and at least the ladies are here today. And we like that because Linda doesn't want to be the only one here. So, with me, you know, and like I said, don't call her Tonto. But here she is, Linda Reed from St. Thomas Parish in Providence, Rhode Island. Good morning, Linda. How you doing?
Good morning, Joanne. I'm doing just fine.
And we are so glad to have Nancy back. Nancy at St. Teresa, St. Christopher Parishes in Tiverton, Rhode Island. Good morning, Nancy. How you doing? And she's got to turn the mic on in order to hear her. Turn it on.
I did. It didn't turn on.
Oh.
Good morning, everybody. We'll try this again.
That's okay. As one of our news anchors around here would say, those dastardly computers.
Yeah, I hit the button, or so I thought.
Or so you thought, apparently. Yeah. Well, it's good to have Nancy back. What have you been doing, Nance?
We took some time off. We took a vacation. We went down to Rehoboth Beach in Delaware and had a little bit of R&R and walked the boardwalk and went to their Veterans Day ceremonies and little shopping, a little eating. Actually,
Nancy,
a little shopping and a lot of eating.
That's our summer hangout.
I know it is.
I love it there.
And you didn't bring Linda back a crab cake?
Yeah, really.
I don't think the crab cakes were on the menu where we went.
Jeez.
Actually, we had crab, but I don't remember crab cakes.
Yeah.
I almost called you to find out.
Delaware. It's Delaware. Even though it's very close to the Maryland line, it is Delaware. So there's
It is Delaware, absolutely Delaware. Yeah. And but I know that there was a place that you go down there. I wasn't sure, a restaurant that you and your family enjoyed, but I never got a chance to ask you what it was.
Right, yeah.
So, but we had an excellent time, and now back to reality.
Yes, you came back to a very interesting reality.
You mean our news?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hear the news?
Our news is that we're going to be grandparents again.
Yay!
And right about the time our sacraments are happening in May. So this ought to be a very fun month.
Nice. That is so great.
Yes. So
this is grandchild number 2, correct?
Say that again.
Grandchild number 2.
Grandchild number 2. Yes. Grandchild number 2.
And she's due when?
She's due beginning to middle of May.
All right.
Right when confirmation and
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Confirmation, First Communion. Here we go.
Yeah, let's face it. July is about the only month that's good for anybody to have a baby.
It's really pretty safe. You're right. Yeah. You're right. So I told the pastor, I said, well, we'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, but the good thing is Easter is in March.
Yes. Easter is in March, and that's, exactly.
So you've got a little breathing room to get the other stuff done in case you have to,
Easter is in March, and my one of my pianists just booked a trip to Florida over Easter.
Now this is the first I'm hearing this because I'm your other pianist.
I just heard it this morning.
No.
Surprise.
She said, I didn't realize when the date of Easter was. I said, oh my God.
That's why you check the calendar.
Oh,
Okay, so I guess I have a gig in March then.
you definitely have a gig.
Okay.
X out Holy Week.
If you're telling me that now, I will X out, as I X'd out Christmas for my folks in Middleborough. So she had the baby, and she had the baby last Thursday. So I will X out Holy Week for you.
Yes.
I can always get a gig, can't I?
Yeah, yep, you can.
You can.
Between
Never
all
a
these
problem.
places, I guess I can. Wow. Well, again, those who live by the liturgical calendar,
That's right. Die by the
liturgical calendar. Exactly. And, this past weekend was, well, we're not quite, ordinary time doesn't end until Saturday,
Right.
actually.
But for me, it's over.
Well, for the weekend folks, by all intents and purposes, this is the last Sunday in ordinary time, the 34th, which we designate with a very long title of is it solemnity or feast? I think it's solemnity.
Solemnity.
It's solemnity because I announced it as feast and I went,
Solemnity of Christ, King of the Universe. So
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, King of the Universe. It's
So I made an order of worship this morning, and because we used Dolores Duffner's text and it's not in our books. So I made an order of service this morning, and I put the full title at the top of the page, and I didn't have room for the hymn. So,
oh, that's even bad.
yeah. So I had to shorten it to Christ the King. Boop.
There you go.
and I
like,
said, let us stand and celebrate the feast of Christ the King, and he gets up there as we celebrate the solemnity of Christ the King.
Yeah.
oh, I hate when that happens.
Oops. Yeah. Hey.
You know what? These are the things as we were going through the 70s, 80s, and 90s that we got used to.
Yes.
And then they dug up the real names to these things to put them in
That law.
Well, it's the same thing. We know,
It is, yeah.
know the second Sunday after Pentecost as Corpus Christi.
Yes.
It's
And
now
it's
the solemnity of the body and blood of Jesus Christ. So it's like, how do you fit that on a worship aid unless you put it in 12-point?
Yeah, right.
That's the purpose of the title of a worship aid. So, but this one was a long one too, and it's like, thank you.
Yeah, well, it was a short one at St. Thomas.
Well, there you go. There you go. So this is the end of we're at the end of a liturgical year, so that next week, but not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, well, not yet, but we sing it all through Advent. I know antiphons don't start until the 17th of December, but to me, the quintessential sound of Advent is O Come, O Come, Emmanuel.
And I've done the last couple of years to just do instrumental the first 2 weeks, and the people are confused. So we're singing it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, we just sing it all 4 weeks.
Just sing it. Because but we're also, as I announced at the beginning, this is the 97th episode.
Wow.
Right.
Yikes.
We have a couple more episodes till we get to 100.
Woohoo!
Believe it or not. None of us can believe it.
I can hardly believe it.
We did start we started on the first Sunday of Advent in 2013.
Cycle A.
Yep, Cycle A. We're now going into Cycle C. So this is going, I did not know it would last this long. It was an experiment we decided to take on, and I dragged my friends into it, and they've pretty much stuck.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing, and they're still my friends, so that's but that's good in this world nowadays.
It's very good, yes.
But we're still looking for your input, and I will really plug it the next week or so on Facebook, facebook.com/Monday Morning Catholic, so that you can give us some more ideas of what to talk about, because this will be a pre-recorded episode in order to get all of us there. And it's going to be difficult, but we're really going to try to do it within the next week or two so that we can put it out there for you. It does mean you're going to miss the third Sunday of Advent, I should say, information, but and then again, maybe not, because I have more of a problem recording on the fourth Sunday of Advent. that they don't know about yet. So
Oh, good.
later.
Okay.
As you say, it's life gets in the way of all this.
It's
Exactly.
in the way.
These are the things that happen. So please send us your information, things you might want us to talk about. And ladies, and also Stephen, we need to come up with some things, highs and lows too. So you'll be getting my memorandum that says, think of the highs, think of the lows, think of the crazy stuff, things that kind of made us go off track. And also, what we hope for the next 100 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's true, because I'm really trying to make this a community event and not just for people who get together and gab every week, even though we talk about the weekly liturgies and we talk about all kinds of other things. And we started this Voice of the People, which I think has worked out quite well, because they've come up with some really strange things. Yeah. Again, this week is same thing. It's, of all the stuff I put up there, this is the one that rose to the top.
Yeah.
So, we would really like your input. So please, MondayMorningCatholic@gmail.com is our Gmail address. That's where you send the email. You can put stuff up on Facebook, facebook.com/MondayMorningCatholic. You can use the comment box on MondayMorningCatholic.net, because I'm still paying for that website. Well, the website, because I have it on a company, with a company called Squarespace, they host the audio.
Okay.
As well as our YouTube links to our YouTube page. So I'm not about to get rid of them anytime soon, or I'd have to look at other things.
Yeah, right.
And then again, you can be brave and call us at the voice feedback line, which we'd love to hear. It would be nice if you'd also like to leave well wishes for our 100th episode as well, if you just want to congratulate us for getting there.
Yeah, we'll play them.
We'll play it. 774-955-0659, and I'll say it again at the end of this podcast. We have no feedback this week, and that's perfectly okay. Going into Thanksgiving, I'm sure everybody is worried about, who's coming to Grandma's house, and I already have my turkey, and everything's in the refrigerator. Almost everything's in the refrigerator, waiting. How about you, ladies? It's a very small gathering at my house this year, but what are you guys doing?
It's a small gathering at my house too. It's just my kids and their kids.
Maybe your house is never a small gathering.
And,
so.
Well, we have one grad student, our adopted grad student.
Okay. All right.
Is coming. But it's and I haven't gotten my stuff yet. I'm going tomorrow.
Oh, lucky you! I because of my work schedule this week, I knew it would be Tuesday or Wednesday before I'd get to go.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have any place in the refrigerator to thaw the turkey, so I had to wait.
Well, there you go. All right.
So
we went shopping yesterday morning, and all the crazies decided they would go at the same time.
Yes, of course.
That's the problem now is, how do you get to the store without the crazies being there?
Are you cooking, Nancy?
Liz and I are cooking. Yeah, her stove upstairs will be the turkey, and my stove downstairs will be the casseroles and such.
All right.
But she's a plan aheader, and I'm right with her, so that everything will be done by Wednesday night and in the refrigerator, and so all we need to do is take them out and throw them in the oven, except for the potatoes. Everything else will be done.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going to try this year to do my mashed potatoes in the crock pot. I found a recipe to do my mashed potatoes in the crock pot, and not only can you cook them in the crock pot, you season them, you mash them, and you put it on low, and it keeps them warm. So
send me that email. That might be something.
That recipe.
to be able to put my feet up and watch the Macy's Day Thanksgiving parade would be a wonderful thing.
Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing? Rather than sitting there peeling potatoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
so I'll get it done. I'll get it all done before 9 o'clock mass. Get the potatoes in the crock pot, the turkey in the roaster, and we're good.
Done and done. Now we've got Liz's in-laws are coming down from Maine, and
nice.
So then just the rest of us. So it'll be small, but still more than normal. So.
Yeah, well, small for me is 4 people.
Well, that's fine.
So
we have 2, 4, 6, 7.5.
7.5. Oh, yeah.
7.5.
Okay.
Yes.
I
Well,
want that
we have a vegan who doesn't eat any turkey, and so that I have to prepare a couple of separate things for her, and then I think everybody, the grad student, Darcy, our adopted grad student, is the best eater in the world.
And he's skinny as a rail.
And he's skinny as a rail, and he's the only person I know that eats thirds at one sitting.
Wow.
So,
Oh, good for him. Well, maybe the thing is not to fill your plate so you can't see any more of the plate.
yeah.
The first time through.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, then what's Thanksgiving without that?
No,
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I love to feed Darcy. He's just so appreciative.
And I take it that none of us here are going to go shopping.
No, are you kidding?
Yeah.
No, not
Thank
at all.
you.
Poo-poo,
Thank
and
you.
everybody thinks that after midnight, do it, you will. But making people come away from their home
Yeah,
on Thanksgiving
that's
is
ridiculous.
bad.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Nope.
Yep.
Yep.
Totally.
Now I realize there are people who would use any excuse to get away from their families on Thanksgiving, but for most
Could be
of
as simple
us,
as not wanting to clean up, huh, Linda?
yes, for most of us, we would like to spend Thanksgiving as a day of Thanksgiving.
Yes, Thanksgiving should be a day of Thanksgiving and not anything else.
And so
Absolutely.
we start with Mass, and the way the turkey cooks, I put the turkey in, get dressed, play Mass, come back, and it's ready to be basted.
There you go.
But I want that potato recipe.
I'll send
Me
it.
too. Me too.
Okay, I'll send
Most
it.
definitely. And if you want that mashed potato recipe, just put it up on Facebook and be done with it.
I'll put it up on Facebook. It's all right.
There you go. We'll put it up on the Facebook page if you're
That's
still
funny.
And if
That's
you're
funny.
listening to this after Thanksgiving, you can use it for Christmas.
Yes, right. Or anytime you like mashed potatoes.
There you go. We aim to please here at Monday Morning Catholic. So if that's the case, let's get to what we usually get to here at Monday Morning Catholic.
Amen.
Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear for the solemnity of Jesus Christ, King of the universe? I believe something along those. It's something along those lines.
That's it. The solemnity of Jesus Christ, King of the universe.
Mm-hmm. Or Christ the King.
Yeah.
Whichever you put on your worship.
Whichever you prefer.
Whichever one. The readings we looked at, we had another selection from the book of the prophet Daniel this week, which I know my young ones at Generations of Faith were kind of hoping they would have heard the Lion's Den story.
Yeah.
But I think that only shows up during the daily readings.
During the weekdays, yeah.
This one was from the 7th chapter and talking about the coming of the Son of Man. Since he is we consider him an apocryphal book, anything like that would talk about the coming. And since it's the apocryphal book in the Old Testament, now this is where you start all the, and he's one of the minor prophets in that category. It stands to reason he would also talk about it too, besides the Lion's Den story.
Yeah.
Daniel only is known for that story.
I know. Poor Daniel.
I know, and he's also got the I believe. No, that's not the same book. I won't even go there. Skip that. Just
Never mind.
Yeah, never mind.
Psalm 93.
Yay.
Was the psalm this past weekend. The Lord is King; He is robed in majesty. I think everybody was doing proper psalm this weekend.
I did it. Yeah.
Yep.
Salite.
Salite.
Yep.
Yes.
RNA.
RNA. Salite. RNA.
Salite and
Salite,
RNA.
RNA.
Don't tell me we're already starting.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, I guess. Yikes. And then Revelation, we went into the book of Revelation. So we're looking at the two apocryphal books,
Yep.
the Old Testament, one from the New Testament. And I love it that it's Jesus Christ is the faithful witness. That's what jumped out at me.
That's a great sentence.
Yes. Because amid all of the other things that's going on, and when the lector says amen, everybody tries to say amen with
I
him.
know.
It's just one of those
I'll give
things.
us a little more affirmation. What the heck?
It's Pavlovian in nature. That,
Yeah, you hear forever and ever, and you just say
everybody says
amen.
that's the problem. They just keep doing that.
That's right.
So, and that's fine. But then I made a mistake last week, and jump on me for it. I said we were going to hear from Mark this week, and we don't. We hear from John.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that because even though it's the 3-year cycle, they still stay within that same Pilate and Jesus exchange on Christ the King.
Yeah.
So, and instead
I
of
think this is the most difficult year to plan music for Christ the King.
how so?
Only because the first year you have the last A cycle, you have the Last Judgment.
Mm-hmm.
It's big. Christ, big judge, end of
Right.
time, blah blah blah. And the C cycle, you have Jesus reigning from the cross,
Right.
pulling in the good thief.
Right.
But this dialogue with Pilate, I mean, I know he talks about being a king and all that, but I find it a little bit hard to plan for.
Well, the thing is, I'm always waiting for the next line.
Yeah.
Because, everybody who belongs to the truth
What
listens
is
to my
truth?
voice. I'm waiting for that
Yeah.
line. Truth, what is that?
Yes.
And I think it should end with that, quite frankly, but then it goes on, that's a whole other topic.
Nobody asked us.
No.
So,
Nope, nobody asked me. So,
but that's just an aside. I just find the B cycle a little bit difficult to focus on, which of course this year didn't make any difference, and we'll get to that when I get to my homily.
yeah, Linda will tell you all about that in her when she shares the homilies. So maybe Linda should go first.
Yes.
Why don't you go
we
first?
had a 3-ring circus. Actually,
Well, it should, again, it's one of those things.
we
And
had.
We with clown car, yes.
I mean, you talk about trying to keep track of the ritual. Jeez. We had the Feast of Christ the King, yes. We had an infant baptism. We had a renewal of vows, a couple married 60 years.
Thanks be to God. That's
and
great.
we had a blessing of a young man. Oh,
Sorry.
And a blessing what?
we had a blessing of a young man who was leaving for his military service.
What, no first communion or confirmation?
Yeah.
Partridge in a pear tree.
So here's our poor pastor trying to accommodate all of this. And
At one Mass.
At one Mass. And then to make matters more complicated, last night at the 4, we had our annual Mass of Remembrance, where we recall all the people who died during the year. So, we never really had a feast, a Mass that was just purely Christ the King. It was a lot of other stuff going on.
Yikes.
So anyway, here's his homily.
Okay, here we go.
He begins with, "Today is the great feast of Christ the King, which is all about endings and beginnings. From a liturgical perspective, this is the last Sunday of Year B, where we consider the Gospel of Mark. And next Sunday will be the first Sunday of Advent, Year C, where we mostly consider the Gospel of Luke. The feast is about Jesus being the Alpha and the Omega, another beginning and ending, as we heard from the second reading in the book of Revelations. Jesus is the Alpha. He was with the Father from the beginning of time, and he is the Omega. His kingdom will last forever and will be the final event of God's plan for us." That was the extent of Christ the King.
Okay. We've got that far.
We also this weekend, and he has in parentheses, at this Mass, this was for the 4, remember our deceased loved ones who have passed away this year, in tying it in with the beginnings and endings. We place our faith and trust in the words from Scripture that Jesus' dominion will last forever and that his kingdom is not of this world, but rather a kingdom of peace and joy that will last forever. Our faith reminds us that as we remember our loved ones this evening, we believe that we are sharing life with Christ the King, or we believe that they are sharing life with Christ the King in his kingdom forever. One of the beautiful images we have of the power of Christ is the Paschal candle. He treats that because the Paschal candle was brought out to light the candles at the Mass of Remembrance. One of the beautiful images we have of the power of Christ is the Paschal candle, for it reflects the light of Christ that shines in our life. Christ as our King shines his light of hope, of love, and of grace into all the darkened areas of our lives. At times we need his light when our world is dark, from the loss of loved ones to the dangers our world presents. All you have to do is turn on the TV to hear all manner of darkness. And he went on to cite, the Paris, the Beirut, the school shootings, all the terrible things that happen in this life. We need to keep Jesus' kingdom values of caring for others, of comforting those who are mourning, of challenging those who are not living out the kingdom values, and of the call for all of us to be light for others. As Catholics, we are people of symbols. The candlelight that we are reflects our deceased loved ones. We also gave out bulbs so that the people could plant a bulb in memory of
that type of bulb. Okay.
Yeah, that bulb.
I thought you were going green there for a minute.
No. We gave out bulbs, and so he talks about the daffodil bulbs that remind us that after the bitter cold of winter comes the new dawn of spring and the promise of new life. And that's where he tied in at 10:30 Mass the baby's baptism and Minnie and Carmine, talking about the baptism as a beginning, and Minnie and Carmine celebrating, the end of 60 years of their married life, and their renewal, making a new beginning of their life together. And so he did tie everything into beginnings and endings. On the streets of Christ the King, may we not only allow his light to shine on us, but may we reflect that light to others by how we choose to live our lives.
Nice. Wow. That was tough.
Yes. He tied everything into beginnings and endings, and I thought that was masterful.
Okay. All right. And you know what? This is what happens. I had the same thing with my boss, who had to tie in Christ the King with what we were learning in Generations of Faith, because it was our Generations of Faith family mass.
Oh, yeah.
So he had the same, agenda, so to speak.
Yeah.
You had to tie the two together. But it was easy because working with the Book of Daniel, which they did in Generations,
oh, well, there you go.
kind of bridged the gap a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and he was really good at it too. Of course, that's not the one I'm talking about
okay.
today, but that's okay. He won't mind. Not that it wasn't. I have something else that I thought was much more timely. So
okay,
we'll use that one. But what about you, Nance? We'll let you go next.
Okay.
Or do you want me to go next?
No, that's fine.
Okay, go right ahead.
I just have to find my resource here. Father also had a lot of things on his plate this past Saturday as far as addressing, and the main one was we had a day-long workshop that wasn't even completed after Mass for grieving parents who have lost children. And it was a day-long event, and so he had to tie in, and much of what Linda said as far as the remembering were pieces and parts that Father included as well. But he also went into some lovely quotes, and he brought a lot of these pieces in, trying to twist around the Thanksgiving message and the refugee issue that's on our plates right now. And he brought a quote from Pope Francis from a few years ago on the Feast of the Holy Family. And Pope Francis said, quote, "As we fix our gaze on the Holy Family of Nazareth, as they were forced to become refugees, let us think of the tragedy of those migrants and refugees who are victims of rejection and exploitation," unquote. He called on us to be present to all who are exiled, especially in our own families. So a little bit of tweak perhaps for those to be invited to your table on Thanksgiving coming up, and also the refugees. That is a big topic right now. And he also brought in a quote, a more timely quote from the Bishop of Albany, Ed, I'm going to mess this name up, Scharfenberger.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And his quote was, "While acknowledging that national security remains a priority to our political leaders, he also made this important point: we cannot give in to xenophobia or misplaced blame." And quote, "As we prepare to celebrate Thanksgiving, gathered around tables laden with food and family and faith, we simply cannot turn our backs on those who have lost everything, in some cases their lives, because of their faith. We are one, and when we forget that, we slip dangerously toward becoming more like the people we fear than the people we were created to be," unquote. We were created to be something more, is what Father, see if I can come back to you now, is what Father was trying to get through to us. And that's when he brought in parts and pieces of the old term Christ the King, King of the universe, and how we are meant to be like Christ-like in our lives and in our giving, and very poignant in trying to bring all the parts and pieces together. And I thought he did a really nice job. And he gave a quote from our Bishop Tobin, but there was, I can go on and on, but we have time to consider. So it was partially about the refugees, partially about our Thanksgiving table, partially about loss, and tying all of those together with the kingship of our Lord. And so yeah, it was a multi-faceted celebration as well.
You know, these multifaceted things, you've got to give these guys credit to pull it out.
Really?
Because
absolutely.
They have to deal with what's going on in front of them and then deal with everything else.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I spoke to him before Mass. I said, "Are you okay?" He said, "Why?" I said, "You just seem preoccupied." I said, "Normally you're really present." And he just started kind of the litany of what we're talking about here, that you have to deal with so many things in doing all of these. He's had to do this, he's had to do, not had to, but his ministry today was combining so many pieces that his mind was still in a whirl, if you will, with all of that. So,
Good night.
Yeah.
Well, this homily that I pulled up came to me a couple of days ago, because some people do put their homilies out early in the universe of the internet, and so, but good thing too, because this is very, very timely. It's once again Deacon Greg Kandra over at Alatia, or I think I'm hoping that's saying that right.
I don't know what it is.
Alatia. It's sort of like Patheos.
Okay.
It's where, but I believe this one is decidedly Catholic. Whereas Patheos, you could be, it's a gateway for all kinds of faiths. I think a lot of the folks from the Catholic section of Patheos has moved over.
Oh, okay.
I'll put a link in the in our honorable mention. It's Aleteia. It's got to be Latin for something, but I'll look it up. But he moved his homilies, his entire blog over there, and he writes these really great homilies. And the one he calls for this past weekend was What We Stand For. And it's this feast we celebrate today. Christ the King has an interesting history. Of course. Hold on. Just got to get myself. There we go. Thank you. Now we'll do it again. It's relatively new. It was only added to the church calendar in 1925. And in
Yeah.
the 60s, Paul VI actually changed its name. He formalized its title as now officially Solemnity of Christ the King of the Universe. Okay. The meaning is clear. All of creation in this world and beyond is subject to Christ. No one and nothing is greater. But looking at the news this past week, I wonder how many people understand that. How many Christians really believe that? Read the headlines, scan social media, check the comments on Facebook or Twitter, listen to our presidential candidates.
Yep.
The overwhelming sense you get is that many today are not ruled by Christ the King. They are ruled by something else, by fear, by mistrust. Some even rule by hate. I'm speaking of the current debate about refugees in the Middle East. Right now, there is a loud chorus of people who believe we need to wall off the world. Turn away refugees, those who are fleeing terror and violence. Better yet, only admit people to this country religion. Only give shelter to those who are like us. This needs to be said. This is not who we are. We are Catholic Christians. We stand for something. We stand for compassion. We stand for mercy. We stand for human dignity, regardless of race or religion. We stand, in short, for life. This feast could not come at a more important moment. This is the time for us to profess our allegiance, but not an allegiance to fear or exclusion or mistrust or hate. Those cannot rule us. We already have another ruler. The world must know we are Christians. Christ is our King. How do we reflect that? I'd like to suggest 3 ideas. He must be Jesuit trained. First, we believe the truth of what our King taught. We follow his greatest commandment, love one another. We honor his teaching. When you welcomed a stranger, you welcomed me. And we take courage and consolation from 4 words he repeated again and again, the words that banished all fear and helped turn a small movement of frightened apostles into a worldwide phenomenon that even now is driving out doubt and affirming hope. Those 4 words, do not be afraid. We are not afraid. We are Christians. Christ is our King. Secondly, in professing our allegiance to our King, we cherish the teachings of his Holy Catholic Church on earth. The greatest teachers have shown us the way. In our own lifetime, Pope St. John Paul offers one example. He wrote, "The tragedy of refugees is, quote, a wound which typifies and reveals the imbalance and conflicts of the modern world," unquote. It shows a divided world that is far from that ideal according to which, quote, if one member suffers, all suffer together, unquote. The Church offers her love and assistance to all refugees without distinction as to race or religion, respecting in each of them the inalienable dignity of the human person created in the image of God. This is who we are. We see the dignity of the human person created in the image of God. We are Christians. Christ is our King. Thirdly, we believe in this humbling, overwhelming truth. Our King was one of us. He suffered. He hungered. He worked. He wept. He bled. And he was a refugee. 2 years ago, on the Feast of the Holy Family, Pope Francis reminded the world that the Holy Family was made up of 3 people seeking refuge from a ruthless dictator bent on murder. Pope said, quote, "As we fix our gaze on the Holy Family of Nazareth as they were forced to become refugees, let us think of the tragedy of those migrants and refugees who are victims of rejection and exploitation," unquote. He called on all of us to be present to all who are exiled, especially in our own families. This is who we are. We help those who are helpless. We protect the innocent being persecuted. We seek dignity for those who have had it taken back. And we remember that all those things happened to Jesus, our King. Some years back, I read an interview with a sister in Iraq. She described the horrific shelling her village had to withstand under the U.S.-led invasion in 2003. The neighbors who lived near her convent were all Muslim. They were terrified. The sisters let them stay in their convent where they would be safe, and even opened one of their rooms for the Muslims to use for their daily prayers. As the sister explained, we don't help them because they're Catholic. We do it because we are. We are. We are Christians. Christ is our King. Friday, And here we go. Our friend Bishop Ed Scharfenberger of Albany issued a statement on the refugee crisis. While acknowledging that national security remains a priority to our political leaders, he also made this important point. We cannot give in to xenophobia or misplaced blame. Quote, as we prepare to celebrate Thanksgiving, he wrote, gathered around tables laden with food and faith and family, we simply cannot turn our backs on those who have lost everything, in some cases their lives, because of their faith. We are one, and when we forget that, we slip dangerously toward becoming more like the people we fear than the people we were created to be, unquote. We were created to be something more. Let this then be our prayer, that we remember what we are called to be, that we remember the one we serve, that we strive always to do him honor, that we reflect the gospel he taught us and the example he gave us, that we see the dignity of every human life. Our faith calls us to do no less. Our faith, as Bishop Ed put it, calls us to be more. On this Sunday, on this feast, we acclaim that. But let us resolve here and now to acclaim that not just on this feast. We need to give witness to it every day with how we live and with how we love. Let the world know this. We stand beside the weak and the helpless, the persecuted and forgotten, regardless of race or religion. In the present crisis, we stand where we have always stood. We stand for life. We stand for hope. And we do it for this reason. We are Christians. Christ is our King.
Yay!
He is remarkable.
That sounds very familiar.
Well, hey, can I tell you?
Evidently, they all like those quotes.
They do. They do. And it is a
They're
wonder.
good quotes to like.
They're very good.
Yeah.
But he again is a deacon in the Diocese of Brooklyn, and he is a producer he was a producer for CBS for a while.
Oh, gee.
You know, so he knows media.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he doesn't record them,
Yeah.
because I think it would be very, very interesting. I would like to hear his delivery.
Hear his delivery, yeah.
You know?
Just as a sidebar here,
Mm-hmm.
Aletheia means truth.
There you go. And it's
Greek.
Aletheia. Okay. Or Aletheia. Or I've heard somebody else syllable it differently.
So yeah, well.
You know, these people with syllables.
Well, and then it's the Greek too, so it's very.
All right.
The emphasis is different.
Emphasis is very different.
Yes.
Well, if you've got homilies out there that you want to share with us, please do. We love to hear them after the fact, you know, in our beginning segments. So please, again, mondaymorningcatholic@gmail.com, facebook.com/mondaymorningcatholic. You can put it in the comment box at mondaymorningcatholic.net, or call the voice feedback line, 774-955-0659. We have to go to...
The voice of the people cannot
Here we go.
be denied.
The lovely voice of the people. Okay. They had to give
Set
us...
it up.
They had to
It
give
was
us...
set up again.
You know what? I will say this much. I am definitely better off with the one they chose than the one that came in second, which was a longtime immigration lawyer and pastor explains the refugee process.
Oh, gee.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. I think I would have
About Mary and the Muslims.
you know, I'd rather hear this one. And this is very interesting. It is a reposting of something that was posted in what's called Restoring Catholicism at restoringcatholicism.com on a prophetic warning of 50 years ago from Archbishop Fulton Sheen. And it's entitled Mary and the Muslims, The Significance of Fatima. Now, I'll admit straight out that even though I took a course in world religions, I don't know as much about Islam as I should. So in reading this, I was very surprised at what is supposed to be the Islamic understanding of Mary and who Mary is. And they're I guess you almost want to say devotion or respect to.
Yeah.
And then the significance of Fatima, not knowing, again, that Fatima in the Islamic tradition is the daughter of Muhammad,
Right.
and that Our Lady appeared at Fatima.
At Fatima. Yes.
Okay, after the understanding that this village, Fatima, okay, was named so when the Moors invaded Portugal, and all the Muslims went to Portugal and you know, the whole Iberian Peninsula for a time, and that, you know,
They named the city after Muhammad's daughter.
Yeah.
Exactly. So here we go. You know, there's a significant tie-in here. And, you know, Fulton Sheen was saying that, you know, this whole thing about he says the final evidence of the relationship of Fatima to the Muslims, an enthusiastic reception of which the Muslims in Africa and India and elsewhere gave to the pilgrim statue of Our Lady of Fatima. So there is, you know, people have to understand that the Muslim faith goes back to the tribe that Ishmael comes from. And Ishmael is, without mincing words, the bastard child of Abraham.
Yes.
All right. So you've got Isaac, from which Jesus' line comes from. And then you have Ishmael, which is where Muhammad's line comes from. Okay, so God promised Abraham that he would be the many nations, and we got that right.
Yep.
But that's why there's always been this fighting.
Hmm.
And that's why it's always been in the same place. But not knowing some of these particulars, and the Quran having mention of Mary, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I didn't either.
It seems strange because obviously the Muslims do not give divine attributes to Jesus.
No.
And yet they honor his mother as though he were divine.
Which again makes no sense.
Yeah.
Which is one of the arguments that they were talking about, but it was an eye opener for me because it talked about, as you guys just said, all of the things that the Quran does acknowledge, the Assumption, the Nativity, all of those pieces, and I wouldn't have known that ever.
No.
Those are not.
But what they say is that Christ is a prophet that announces Muhammad.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just as John the Baptist announced Christ. Of course, as a Christian, I don't buy that.
No.
But I guess if you're going to look at it from their point of view, it's something that supposedly unites us, but I don't understand why they still want to cut off our heads.
Yes. Yeah, really.
That's another chapter.
It must be.
It's a different chapter of the Quran.
Yeah, and that's truly why I don't understand all of this stuff, and I guess I just need to sit down and educate myself. If you've got somebody that, as Fatima, as you acknowledge Mary, even if you look at Christ as a prophet, where does all of this? Certainly, Christ didn't talk about cutting off the infidel's head and all of the, this was not anywhere in any of his teachings. So if you acknowledge him as a prophet, where does this other stuff come from? That's what I'd like to know. And that's where I need to educate myself. So
I think because this became so popular on Facebook, I believe that we need to, as Catholic Christians, we need to educate ourselves more. And we talked a little bit, Linda and I talked a little bit about this last week, where, how can you fight these people if you are not a person of faith? Because they obviously believe that what they are doing is divinely inspired.
Yes.
So if you're just one who fights on, causes or, territory or whatever, you don't understand their mind.
Yeah.
So you don't know how to defeat them.
Yeah, right.
We know how to defeat them. We should know how to defeat them.
We should know, but it's very difficult for people who don't mind giving up their lives for what they think their religion is asking of them.
Right. Because
for what they think they're going to accomplish with.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's the whole. I don't pretend to understand the whole concept of jihad, but
You don't either.
that is the principle that they're working on. That
Yeah.
this is what God wants us to do, man.
Mhm.
We need to kill the infidel, and so till the whole world is Muslim. It's hard to fight that, you know.
But Fulton Sheen is saying that through Mary, this may be
That might
Mm-hmm.
be the key.
do it.
Yes.
Because Mary to them is someone who they revere. So perhaps she is the intercessor for this.
Yeah.
And I think what was so interesting to me was, and you alluded to it earlier, Joanne, is that this article was attributed to be written in 1952, so that's 63 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That certainly none of the things that are going on in current day was happening back then, but something was going on to spark this column that he wrote.
Right.
And quite interesting. 63 years ahead of what's going on now.
Yikes. So I encourage you to go to our Facebook page and continue to take a look at this. Facebook.com/Monday Morning Catholic. I can only say it so much. But go over, if you want to read the whole thing, it's over at restoringcatholicism.com. And, I think we need to be more, again, I'm going to keep saying we need to be more equipped. Be better equipped, which means we need knowledge. Now, I'm not saying go out everybody and read the Quran, but we need to understand the people with whom some of us may have to do battle with. And I think it's important that and then I think if Mary is a key here, then perhaps Mary is the one we should
be praying to.
We should be invoking her intercession.
Yes.
And the other side of no, we're not going to necessarily go out and read the whole Quran, but as soon as you said that, what happened in Mali a few days ago, what saved a few people's lives was being able to quote from the Quran.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Whether they were Muslim or not, if they were able to quote, that was what they needed.
Right.
And so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
It's a tough one. So thank you, Voice of the People, for giving us another crazy one to do.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But again,
we don't have any answers here.
We don't. But this is what's on people's minds.
Yeah.
So our best guess is for those two things. Mary will probably become our intercessor, and we'll probably see more things along those lines. And we need to know who we are dealing with. And sort of separate them from the refugees, but that's a whole other story.
That's a whole other story.
All right, we're going to go one more place quickly. Only because it's coming. Let's go to liturgy. And in the right stuff, of course, Advent, liturgy and rituals. What are you all doing for Advent? Are we celebrating Advent? And I got a few snarky people.
Oh.
This is on my own Facebook page.
Yeah.
All right. That when I put up a thing, the next liturgical season is Advent, not Christmas. I ended up with, we should just be happy we can celebrate it at all, number one. And then it's like, if Christmas makes people happy, then fine. Well, that's not the point.
No.
All right. The point is the next liturgical season is Advent, and we are not a people who like to wait for anything.
Period. It is. Period. That's
right.
all. That's all.
Nobody likes to wait, except for me. I love Advent.
So do I. But if people would just now, I'm not saying I don't put my tree up till the 24th, because that's not true.
No, it's not. That's just not with the job that I have. That's not feasible.
Practical. Not practical either.
No. I cannot do that. I have to put it up a little bit in advance.
Right.
I don't light it until the 24th.
Exactly. Exactly. It's we're coming up on the weekend of Thanksgiving. My husband likes to put the lights on the house, especially if it's warm out.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. I don't want him up on a ladder in the freezing cold.
No.
So, but it's the interior. is what we're talking about here. You know, we should not always have our mind on Christmas now, because when we get to Christmas, we don't want to celebrate it.
No.
We need to turn the interior light bulb over to Advent. You know, and especially in the churches, make Advent as Christmas-less as possible, which means you don't put up the trees until after the fourth Sunday of Advent, especially when Christmas is a Friday this year. I said, let it be so.
Yes.
I mean, but you know, some lovely woman, we always put it up right before the fourth Sunday of Advent. We've got plenty of time.
Yes, there is plenty of time.
There's plenty of time, folks. Even though I'm doing a Generations next month on Christmas, that's specifically the Christmas story.
Oh, yeah.
There's a difference. No Santa or reindeers or grandmas or anything. You know, nobody's going to get run over by a reindeer and that kind of stuff. But it's just that kind of thing. Holiday parties always happen in December. Why can't we have them between Christmas and Christmas and Easter? Yeah.
That's when we have our choir parties.
Yeah, between Christmas and
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do everything on the Epiphany.
Yeah, there you go.
It's actually within the Christmas season, but after Christmas Day.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So what are you planning?
It took me a while. It took me a while to get that across. But
so what are you two planning?
Advent is the usual. Not the usual, but the usual for Advent. We have a very large suspended Advent wreath
which is
over the altar, which is really very nice. It's a wrought iron ring, and it's filled with all kinds of greenery and the candles. And we don't make a big deal out of it. We light it. We bless it and light it the first Sunday of Advent. And then after that, we just light the subsequent candles.
There you go.
And it's there as part of the decor, sort of over and above everything.
So yours is suspended, Linda?
Yes, right above the altar. It's big.
And any special you're going to do for people who don't know what you've done the last couple of
we will do what we do is an entrance rite. We do Wait for the Lord every week as the entrance song, and then there's a prayer at the beginning when we light the candle for the Advent wreath, and we sing a verse of O Come Emmanuel, and then actually, the penitential rite is in there before O Come Emmanuel.
Right.
And then O Come Emmanuel, and then
you don't have to go step.
Yeah. And then the responsorial, the whole liturgy of the Word, musically, is the same.
That's
for
good.
All 4 Sundays of Advent.
I like that. I just happen to like that.
I do too, because the season is short. But I like to tie it together with that. Aspect of having the whole liturgy of the Word the same. And then after the homily, after we hear the readings and the homily, then we shift the emphasis and change some of the hymns from week to week.
All right, Nance, what are you doing?
Essentially the same thing that Linda just described, that the whole liturgy of the Word is the same, and we're opening with O Come Emmanuel and working with the penitential rite that ties into O Come Emmanuel.
All right.
We had, as I said earlier, we had been just using instrumental the first couple of weeks and then coming in, but that became too confusing. It wasn't working. So
they wanted to sing it.
They want to sing it because it is the Advent song. So that's what I chose to do. We're changing the psalm this year because we've been toggling back and forth between 2 other psalms. So this year we're doing Michael Joncas's To You, O Lord.
Nice.
Which one?
Which is
the one from his evening prayer, correct?
The one that's an OCP. To you, O Lord.
That one.
Yeah. Okay.
The evening prayer.
We're doing his Psalm 85.
Lift up my soul.
Yes,
which is a new one for the parish.
I like that a lot.
So we're doing that, and then the Advent Christmas Gospel Acclamation by Haas. We've done that for a couple of years now. Again, some continuity for them, things that they know, and then the new psalm. So, and then as Linda said, changing a few pieces in and out after that as
Yeah.
needed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a short season, and it needs to be. I as a musician, I think it needs to be cohesive.
Oh, also
And-
one
and-
other
Go ahead.
one other thing, and that is after December the 8th, once a month we're going to incorporate our hymn for the Jubilee Year of Mercy.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We're not going to sing it every week because
You.
after 52 weeks, people will want to throw it out the window.
It'll get old.
But we're going to sing it like once a month,
Oh, that's nice.
just to remind people that
Your mercy.
we are in this year, this Jubilee Year of Mercy.
I like that. I like that a lot.
So
Well, good. That means we're all getting ready. We're all next week. We'll be in the right frame of mind, Adventi,
Yes.
and we'll also be beginning year 3 of this podcast.
Yeah.
jeez Louise.
98, believe it or not.
Louise is right.
I know. Jeez. Yikes. But please, we want your input. So again, MondayMorningCatholic@gmail.com, Facebook.com/MondayMorningCatholic, MondayMorningCatholic.net, comment box, and then, of course, voice feedback, 774-955-0659. So, for all of you, this is Thanksgiving week. Please really sit. There is a commercial out, and I know it's selling something, but I liked the premise of it. This Thanksgiving, instead of sitting down thinking about all the, being thankful for what you have, to be thankful for the people in your life. And I think that's, that may change our frames of mind a little bit with these other things going on and how we treat people and who's important and all that. So I kind of like that idea. So I think our prayer this week should be for those to be thankful for those people in our life that mean the most to us. Some maybe the ones who don't mean the most to us need the more prayers, but I think that would be great. So from all of us, Stephen, who is away, but we'll be back for the 100th episode, God willing, if it doesn't rise. Linda Reed, Nancy Smith, and myself, Joanne Mercier. Have a great Thanksgiving. Be ready, prepare ye yourselves for Advent, and we'll see you next week. Thank you all for being here. God bless, and ciao for now.